Hey, what's going on? This is The Doug Show, and this is Doug Cunnington here. It's Friday afternoon. Wow, that actually turned out pretty good. Opening a can, I guess it's pretty good audio there. So today is a very special Q&A. So I'm going to go through and I'm going to look up emails that were sent to me, and I'm going to look on YouTube for comments that were left. I know a lot of people have found me through YouTube. A lot of people listen to the podcast and they watch YouTube videos, and they check out the blog too, and I appreciate all of that. It is much appreciated. And in fact, before we get into it too deep, I want to share basically a phone number with you. I would like to hear from listeners. I'd like to hear from viewers and listeners and people that have, been around Niche Site Project and myself for the last couple of years. Or if you're a new fan, I would appreciate hearing from you. So you can call this number and leave a voicemail. This is my Google Voice number, so it's not going to go to my actual cell phone. It's going to be a voicemail. So you can leave a voicemail. And if you do, I will probably play it on the air if it's, worthy of it. So this is the number. It's 406-813-0613. It will be in the show notes, and you can, say what's up. Let me know who you are, where you're from, what your profession is, if you have any interesting facts about you, hobbies, if you learned anything from Niche Site Project over the years or whatever, you can leave a message. I think potentially you can leave it, or you can send text messages, but I don't really want that, to be honest with you, because this is this is an audio format. So if you want to leave a voicemail, I'd love to hear who the listeners are, and I think it'll be exciting. So do leave a voicemail, and we'll see how it turns out. This could be a mess. It could be a huge mess, but I think it'll be okay. Now, before we get started, you may know that I recently moved to the Boulder, Colorado area, and with that move comes slightly warmer weather, depending on the time of the year, extremely warmer weather than the Bozeman, Montana area. And it's nice here. It's still, at the foothills of the Rockies, and it's a nice town. There's some more people, you get the luxuries of having a larger town, like more frequent flights to more places, if you're flying places, but you also have a little bit more traffic. But one of the huge pros is more beer choices. And this, Colorado area is, one of the meccas for beer. I have been traveling to this area for about 20 years. Since the college years, I've been coming to the, Front Range area here, and it's fantastic. I love it. I almost moved here multiple times, and it just, finally worked out for us to move here. Now, the reason why I'm mentioning that is I'm drinking a beer, which I will mention, not sponsored or anything. I just went to the store and bought this. It is from Left Hand Brewing, and that's kind of cool because we live in an area that it's right by the Left Hand Creek. So Left Hand Brewing is very close by. I've been there a number of times in the past. And this beer, which I have not had before, is called Colorful Colorado, and it's a pale ale. It's kind of cool because like the Welcome to Colorado signs that you may pass going into the state when you're traveling into the state, they say Colorful Colorado. And in fact, I actually remember the very first time I drove into Colorado. I left from Atlanta, solo road trip on my own when I was coming out here in 2002. I stopped and took a picture of the sign that said Colorful Colorado. So little known fact. And I actually forgot until I was looking at this beer can right in front of me here. I haven't had it before. It smells good. It's nice golden color. It's not 100% clear, which is, that could be okay. And it's a slight haze. And, actually, I'm not sure how fresh this baby is, but we're, like 2 miles from the brewery where I bought this. So I imagine it's kind of fresh. Okay, moving on. Let's get to the questions now. And these mostly were listed on YouTube. So when I mention names and stuff, it's because people commented as, whatever their name is or whatever like handle they're using on YouTube. So first one from Michael Beluga. Hi, Doug. With your KGR, I found a KGR compliant keyword and did a great article for it. I now rank number 1 in the all-in search for the keyword, but there are only 9 others ranked. But in the normal search, which is 70 searches per month, I'm nowhere. Is this normal? So a couple things to unpack there. The answer to your question is, yeah, probably that could be normal. I don't know enough details, so I'm going to make some assumptions, which I'll state in a moment, about your question and your site and stuff like that. Now, I know that Michael has asked a lot of questions recently, which is awesome. Thank you for doing that, Michael. And that makes me think that maybe his site is quite new. Maybe his site is only a few weeks old. So is this normal that you're not showing up in the SERPs anywhere right now? The answer is yes. So number 1, there's many like follow-up questions. So I'll start stating them. Like number 1, how are you trying to find out if you're in like the SERPs? There's no indication on like how you're trying to look that up or anything like that. Now, the other part is, you're looking if you're ranking using the all-in title search, which doesn't really tell you anything. It just shows you if you are in, like, if you're indexed or not, which is useful, right? And then as far as like whether you show up in the SERPs or not, you have to, look in the right way. So one way you could do it sort of like without using any paid tools is to look at your Google Search Console. So if you look at the Google Search Console, then you may see if you are showing up with any impressions or anything like that. The overall issue here is you may or may not have a great article in your hands. So you're saying it's a great article, but who knows, right? A lot of people can't or haven't developed the skill to look at their work critically yet. So there are so many examples of people that have like told me that they have like a fantastic piece of content and they think their site is just the greatest thing in the world. And when I actually take a look at it, there's so many issues. There's misspelled words, there's grammar problems, there are just a ton of issues. And the other thing that is super common, especially with on-page SEO, with the KGR for people that are new, and by the way, Michael, I'm just taking this to the extreme example. It's not necessarily like, what I think you did or anything, but people will keyword stuff. So you may have like a pretty long phrase that you're targeting. Let's say it's best ballpoint pen for journaling in college. Pretty long phrase. Kind of weird if you use that more than once. But what may happen is someone installs a plugin for SEO, like for example, the Yoast SEO plugin, which is super popular. And then you put that in as your focus keyword. And next thing you know, it's telling you to use it like 8 times, which again is super weird. So when you take all of that together, Michael, to answer your question, is this normal? The answer is maybe. The answer is maybe. And probably that is normal. But the thing is, you could be making a very simple mistake that you could fix in 10 minutes, or you could be making like a series of very small mistakes, which may not be like a problem all on their own. But when you put it together with like 4 problems that are small, you may find that all of those compound together and you end up with, not ranking anywhere, which is, not great. That's not what you're looking for, especially when, you took the action to use the KGR and now it's not working for you. So just keep pushing, look for those areas that I just described. And just to recap, so make sure you're looking to, figure out whether or not you're actually ranking or not. There are tools to do that, by the way. And double check your keyword usage, double check some of the other on-page areas, especially, grammar, spelling, some of the small things. Have someone else read it. Have one of your friends read it. Let them tell you, what they think as well. All right, next question was sent in by Wrath Monster. And this is in regards to just affiliate marketing in general. Here's what Wrath Monster says. Quote, I'm not sure if it's worth it. SEO has shifted in terms of what I've read online. Keyword research seems to be a waste of time in many people's eyes. With a lower payout from Amazon, how can you still back up the worth of the KGR? Thank you. Coming from a newbie. All right, so good question, Wrath Monster. It's a valid question, and there's a lot of things to unpack here, and I can probably do like 5 episodes on this sort of a topic here. So number one, you are reading stuff online, and you have to take that with a grain of salt. Oftentimes, even myself, right? Even myself, maybe even right now, I want to sell you something or encourage you to do a thing, right? I have my own incentives. I have my own drivers on, what it is I'm doing, right? And sort of the action I want you to take afterwards. Maybe it's buy something from me. Maybe it's buy something from someone else. And maybe it's just to, like I said, take action or think about things differently. So you always have to keep that in mind when you're reading something online. So first statement there, SEO has shifted. Yeah, that is true. SEO has indeed shifted. Now, I think, you're saying keyword research seems to be a waste of time in many people's eyes. Sure, that's fair. However, I think if you go study SEO experts, and one of the starting points is going to be keyword research. So I encourage you, Wrath Monster, to go out and, find SEO experts who are, teaching and executing, and you will probably find out that keyword research is important. Now, is it the holy grail of, what needs to be done to get traffic to a site? No. But if you start a site, many people have done this. If you start a site and you don't do any keyword research and you just write what you think you should write, and you don't have much of a strategy about what you're trying to get people to your site for or anything like that, and you're just writing, you're probably going to find that you're not going to get much traffic. So you may be able to do it. I'm sure there are many examples proving or disproving what I just said. But if you check out, people that are SEO experts, you will often find that keyword research is a critical piece of the puzzle. Even if you don't put a lot of stock into it, you should at least, spend some time doing some kind of keyword research. All right. So keep that in mind. The other thing is there's a whole other set of people that are really incentivized to tell you that keyword research is super valuable. All right. So those are going to be like keyword research companies or companies that have some sort of offering related to keyword research. You might notice I don't have any of that stuff, right? I'm an affiliate for a couple of tools, but I don't really push any specific tool. In fact, Wrath Monster, you say you're familiar with the KGR, per my videos and stuff and other content on Niche Site Project. But you'll probably notice that you probably don't know what keyword research tool I use, because I don't talk about it much because it doesn't really matter all that much. So I try and let people make their own choice, and you can, use the KGR with basically any keyword research tool. Now, further, I like the conciseness and how deep your question goes, by the way. So the third point here is the lower payout from Amazon. How could I still back up the worth of the KGR? So number one, the KGR is independent of Amazon, right? The KGR is a keyword research tool. It's not the only thing you can, use to prioritize the content that you're targeting. But the KGR, the keyword golden ratio, is a useful way to look at data, All right. It's a good way to sort through some data in a way that is manual, in a way that can't be automated very well, in a way that, you're going to have some unique information, probably that other people don't have. So further, I guess I'll just say the KGR is unrelated to Amazon, period. You are also stating that there's a lower payout from Amazon. So Amazon adjusts its program from time to time. And a couple of years ago, 2017, they adjusted their commission rates. And a lot of people did take a hit there. I took a pretty big hit. That's fine. It's the constraint that we're dealing with. But what it really comes down to, Wrath Monster, is pick something to work on. If you're interested in making some money online or working for yourself or doing a side hustle, even if it's not online, maybe you want to start like a physical product side hustle or, do some flipping where you maybe get free stuff from Craigslist and then resell it on, a better marketplace or fix it up or whatever you want to do. Any venture that you're looking at is going to have downsides, just like an Amazon affiliate site using the keyword golden ratio. Anything you pick, if you had a lot of money to invest and you wanted to, say, open a brewery, you're going to run into red tape. People are going to be telling you there's tons of breweries out there and there's all these reasons not to open a brewery. I mean, you have to deal with state laws, you have to deal with federal laws, you have to deal with just the other, revenuers and tax collectors in general. There's permits all over the place. And then you have to have like a place to do it. So you'll still have to find like real estate and deal with a lease and basically, and you could pick any other example, by the way. Any venture, anything that you're going to work on is going to have pros and cons. So it doesn't really matter what you pick, Wrath Monster. Just pick something and take some action. If you think Amazon doesn't pay enough, who cares? Screw Amazon, right? You could work with another company if you want to. You want to get a higher payout? Go to a company with a higher payout. If you want to, work with Walmart or something, that's fine. You can do whatever you want. But like I said, the whole point here is you're going to find pros and cons in anything. So there's all your points are valid. Maybe you think keyword research is no good. Maybe you think SEO shifts too much. Maybe you think it's not fair or whatever. Yeah, that's true. Nothing's fair and everything's going to be hard no matter what you pick. So hopefully that's helpful. And again, I think the main takeaway, I dissected your question pretty hard there, but the main takeaway is to take action. There's going to be plenty of reasons to not do something. And no matter what you pick, you're going to find many reasons to not do it. There's going to be some people that are going to tell you that it's a complete waste of time and you shouldn't do it. And it's up to you whether you want to test the theory, take some action, or just, not do anything. Most people, they don't do anything. All right, next question from Henry Shapiro. When doing keyword research and checking Google, I find that many of the searches are dominated by retailers like eBay, AliExpress, Banggood, or special retailers in the niche, and few or no blogging sites like niche sites. But virtually none of these pages are optimized. What does it mean for the viability of my very small niche? Well, a couple things. Generally, if you are finding that the keywords that you're looking at are dominated by retailers, oftentimes that leads me to believe that maybe you're not looking at buyers' keywords. So buyers' keywords are the keywords that, a searcher will use like sort of in the buying cycle, right? So it's in the buying cycle, but it's far enough along the sales funnel that they're actually interested in buying something, hopefully in the next, 24 hours or so. Now, there's some keywords that are just more general. So if you just search for ballpoint pen, you're probably going to come up with just retailers and people that are selling them, e-commerce type sites, just like the ones you listed. And in that case, when you don't see any like niche sites or affiliate sites, we'll call them, then that's kind of a bad sign. And it means maybe you should adjust your keyword phrases that you're looking for and make sure that you're going for buyers keywords. And a lot of times all you need to do is add like some phrases at the beginning or end of the keyword phrase that are buyer oriented. So that would be like best ballpoint pen or something like that, or ballpoint pen reviews. Those are sort of the key ones that I usually look at. So overall, if you keep searching, and you do mention you have a very small niche, if you keep searching and you don't seem to find these buyers keywords, then that is a little concerning. You may have to think of another way to, find the market and get to the people that are actually interested in buying things. So the overall summary here is maybe you're not using, proper buyers keywords, and maybe, try and find better ones. You may look for competitors and see, who's ranking for what out there. And then you could kind of, get an idea about what's going on and what you can go for. All right. And this is a quick note from Thomas D. And someone, I guess Thomas was saying that I used the KGR and it's working well. So the first 6 posts were KGR compliant. The next 4 were KGR, like on the edge, he says. He let the site sit for 6 months, and then it got out of the sandbox and the traffic went boom. The next 5 posts, he went after whatever he wanted, and Google would rank the post inside the top 40 within the first 48 hours. And Thomas says that he's earning $200 a month on 15 articles. It's all organic, no social traffic. All right, great. Great job there, Thomas, taking action and just being patient in general. That's always really important. All right, next question from B Beast. I have a question regarding the keyword golden ratio. Let's say I have a keyword and, for example, it's best hats. Is it okay to make the title of the post something like 15 best hats to buy today? Or does it have to be just best hats? So the answer is you can add some other words in there, right? So that's totally fine. And it's good to have, something catchy in there, like to buy today, or, just something a little bit more enticing, right? So you want someone to see the results on the search results page, and you want to encourage them to click it. So if you just had best hats, it's a little bit boring, and you have some other, some other words that you can use. So it's great to go ahead and add some other words in there just to make sure it makes sense. All right. Gotham says this: I follow the steps for the KGR, but it's not working. Is there any hidden trick to get it to work? So no, there's no trick. And it's, I honestly can't remember if I've repeated this earlier or if I mentioned it in another video. But basically, one of the issues you may have, Gotham, is keyword stuffing. So if you're keyword stuffing, that could be the problem, or you could just be making some other like SEO mistake. The grammar could be terrible. Your site could be brand new, right? You're saying it's not working, but I don't know how long you've been at it. So Kronos says, hi, Doug. Have I ever considered doing drop shipping? Since it's direct response marketing, it would be nice seeing how you use paid traffic like Facebook ads and Google ads and build a sales funnel to sell from Amazon or AliExpress. So no, I never considered drop shipping. Not particularly interested in that business model. I just kind of buckled down with affiliate marketing, and it's been good. I know a lot of people do, experiment and play around with drop shipping, or, they do it for their business in e-commerce fashion, and that's what they spend their time on. Me personally, I just never found it super interesting, and I think it's a fine business model. There's a lot of great tools for it, but yeah, just never something that I looked into. All right, and we'll just cover a couple more really quickly. So Michael Green says, I just heard that Google is starting to shy away from people that are blogging in the health space unless they have credentials. Has anyone found it to be true? I found a supplement that fits the KGR, but I'm hesitant to move forward. So basically, Michael, yeah, that is generally accurate. So it's not isolated to the health space, but health is one of the areas. And I think like the financial space is another sort of big one that has been impacted. But generally, if you're giving advice on something where there could be like bad impacts, if you're giving bad advice, then that is kind of like what's happening. So like I said, health, financial, other areas where you're giving advice where there could have some negative impacts. Those are the ones where, Google seems to be looking for not necessarily credentials, but just authority overall. Now, there is, I wrote a blog post on this on the EAT update, the expertise, authority, and trust update, which people sometimes call it the medic update, but I'll put a link in the show notes for that one. But generally, there are some guidelines that Google published, right? They're available, and I referenced them a few times in the post. But basically, there are things you could do to help beef up those credentials. And the thing is, those guidelines, I'm not sure if they're algorithmically based because some of the factors seem to be, in my opinion, it would be a little bit unusual or, hard to prove. Even if you like put the credentials, right, you could fake the credentials and just put them online. I think there are, off-site factors that help Google confirm that. And again, in my opinion, I'm not sure if it's an algorithmic set of guidelines, or how you could deal with it exactly. So hopefully that makes sense. But your question is, should I move forward with the supplement affiliate offer that you're looking at? I would probably not, unless you had the credentials or you have like a long-term vision and you have time to be patient. Because I believe, and I've seen this a couple times, especially like, I think the example was in the cannabis niche, but basically it's, someone who doesn't necessarily have the credentials personally, but they're running a good site and they're interviewing experts and they have, excellent content, well written, and it's referenced like a medical document, right? Or a medical journal. So through their, just a good job producing content, they were able to get that authority and rank well. All right. And we'll just hit one more here. And this is from Rick Elwood. Rick says, I was wondering if I know anything about Market Samurai. I've had it for years, but I usually have to blow the cyber dust off it each time I use it. The reason I'm asking is because it has an option where you can add your own type of search rule to it. And I wonder if I had any idea if this KGR, the keyword golden ratio, could be applied. Rick, good question. Actually, I started using Market Samurai when I first got into internet marketing in 2013. And, it was fine for the first, couple months. And then I started to, become aware of other tools. And it was pretty clear that Market Samurai was already becoming antiquated, in my opinion, back in 2013. So I'm not sure. I haven't fired it up myself, even though I think I got like a lifetime license or whatever it was back then. I haven't fired it up in a while. I think you could probably, if they've done at least minor updates, you could probably still get search volumes that you can use. You may even be able to get some idea about the competitiveness of certain keywords. However, I'm not sure, and I kind of doubt that you would be able to, extract any additional useful data for the KGR using like the search rule option. I'm not sure, but I think you would still run into the issue of using the all in title search too often in a short time. Thus, you would trigger the CAPTCHA to come up. So that's kind of what I expect would happen. So thanks a lot, everyone, for sending in those questions. And don't forget, you can, number one, you could send an email, feedback@doug.show. So just feedback@doug.show. You could send me questions there. You can also send me feedback. That would be great. And I want to hear from you. Like I mentioned, you can leave a voicemail message over at, all right, the phone number is 406-813-0613. So you can, like I said, let me know where you're from. Let me know what you're into. Tell me a little about yourself, all that kind of stuff. And if it's a reasonable message, I'll play it on the air. Would love to hear from everyone. And of course, you can ask questions via the voicemail. So just leave a voicemail and we'll see if we can play it in a future episode. Thanks a lot. All right. Thanks a lot for joining me on The Doug Show. I really do appreciate you taking the time. If you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing. I have a ton of other episodes out there covering lots of different topics. Sometimes I just tell stories. If you are a longtime listener, I appreciate you too. If you haven't left a review, that is awesome, because now you have an opportunity to leave a review, and that would be totally cool, and I would really appreciate it. If you're looking to get started with affiliate marketing or making money online or anything like that, you should go over to nichesiteproject.com. That is my blog. Once you're over there, you just click the green button, enter your name and email address, and then I'll send you a bunch of cool stuff. I'll send you templates, some motivational emails, and I think there's probably just some random emails that I send out there also. So we'll catch you next time on The Doug Show. Thanks.